Apple AirPods were created using revolutionary, state-of-the-art technology with a design unlike anything we've ever seen before. Now, when Apple was creating AirPods, they had two goals in mind. Goal number one was to make AirPods very easy to lose. And goal number two was to make AirPods impossible to find. And you know what? They nailed it. If you lose your AirPods, you're not gonna find them. Oh my fucking god. Statistics show that within just 1 year, almost 83% of AirPod owners will have lost either the case, one AirPod, or both AirPods. And of that 83%, only 3% are able to find their lost AirPods using the Find My iPhone app. Now, 3% is a really small amount, especially when you consider the fact that the Find My iPhone app is the only way you could track your AirPods. Or so I thought. There are actually a number of apps on the App Store that claim to be able to find your lost AirPods or wireless headphones. So in today's video, I'm going to be buying a sketchy ass app off the App Store and testing to see if it could actually be used to find your lost AirPods. So the way I'm gonna find out if this app actually works is by running 3 simple tests. The first step is the easiest one of them all. I'm simply going to leave my AirPods on my desk and see if the app can track them from very close range. The second test is a little bit more complex. I'm going to get one of my roommates to hide my AirPods somewhere in the house, and then I'm going to see if the app can track them. The last step is the most complex. I'm going to get my roommate to hide my AirPods again, but this time I'm going to have him hide the AirPods and the case in different locations and see if the app can track all 3 of them. Now, the app we're going to be using is very sketchy, and if we're being honest, I'm pretty sure it's not legit, but I'm a big fan of experiments, and you don't really know if something's legit until you try it, right? So with all that being said, let's get into experiment number 1. This is the app in question. Find My headphones and earbuds, I assume it says. It's $8.49, which is a little ridiculous, but we're gonna buy it, and I will get back to you guys when it is finished downloading. So right away it's asking for access to my Bluetooth. I'm gonna say okay, because that seems like it's okay. So now I'm gonna click Find My headphones. Right off the bat you could see my AirPods, Michael's AirPods, which is pretty cool. I was kind of expecting it to not even work, like not even be able to track them. So this is a good sign. We're off to a good start. Oh, wait a minute, does this app actually work? That's insane. Okay, so it uses a hot and cold system, which is kind of cool. No pun intended. And look, it says hot. So the first test was a success. You know, when you see $9 for an app that looks sketchy as hell, you'd think like it's probably not gonna work, but so far, it's able to track my AirPods from very close range. Now it's time for step 2. Okay, so step 2, Mike here is gonna take my AirPods, take those, and he's gonna hide them. I'm gonna watch you walk away, and I'm gonna turn around, and you're gonna hide them. Okay, go. My eyes are closed. I'm gonna count to 30. 1. Beep. Alright, so I decided I'd come down here to give Mike some privacy to hide the AirPods, because if I'm on the main floor, he's obviously not gonna hide them in my room, and he's not gonna hide them on the main floor because I'm right there. So it didn't really make sense to do the countdown there. The last thing I'm gonna mention before I go to track my AirPods is something that you may have already noticed, but just in case you haven't, the app actually uses a hot to cold tracking system, which means that the closer the bar is to cold, the farther away your AirPods are. And the closer it is to hot, the closer your AirPods are. So it's kind of a fun way to track your AirPods, but it's kind of dumb because like even when it's hot, it could be anywhere. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is the way they chose, so we're gonna have to deal with that. All right, so as you can see, my AirPods are still connected and we are decently far away, I guess, because we are cold. All right, so already it's getting warmer, which means we're going in the right direction. So that's cool. Alright, so you probably noticed that I'm kind of standing still, and the reason for this is because
I've made a huge mistake.
And at this point in the video, I'm just realizing the mistake I made. My roommates were watching The Mandalorian at the time of me recording this video, and they seemed like they were really enjoying the show, and I really didn't have the heart to ask them to move, so I kind of just decided then and there that I would do a voiceover for this part, which I regret because it's kind of weird, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, so they got to enjoy the show and I have to do a voiceover. It's not a big deal. But basically, I checked the first 2 rooms on the main floor, which are nothing special, just like our secondary living room and the games room with the pool table did not get a stronger signal, so obviously I assume the AirPods aren't there, and so I went immediately upstairs. I'm noticing that the temperature is changing pretty drastically and I'm only taking a few steps up the stairs. At this point, I'm really realizing just how shitty this app is. It seems like anytime you move, the temperature will change just to give you the impression that the app is actually doing something, because if it just stayed at warmer, you'd be like, oh, this app sucks. So it moves around a whole bunch even if you're only taking one step. That's what I think, at least. The first room I'm going to is Nick's. I didn't go in there because, one, I didn't get a strong signal, and sometimes his room smells kind of musty, so I didn't really want to experience that. Next, we're going to Michelle's room, aka Hype Mike. The signal did not get strong. I mean, it went to hot for a second, but it didn't like really get strong, so I figured, what the heck, let's skip that room. Next, we go into Jesse's room, where so far I've received the most powerful signal, so I look around a bit. Now, I assumed it would go to very hot when you're near your AirPods. So it didn't in this room, so obviously I assumed that they weren't in here. Obviously, I'm going to say hi to Ollie. I don't know what I was thinking at this time. Logically, you know, I should have went to James's room, but I was like, let me double check Hype Mike's room, I guess. I don't know. Maybe because I got a strong signal. Either way, we're going back to Hype Mike's room. So I didn't really want to snoop around through anybody's stuff. So I just like opened the door and pop in and see if I get a strong signal. And if it went to like very hot, then I would look around. But it didn't. So I kind of just popped in and popped out. Next is finally James's room, which again I didn't really check because the signal wasn't strong at all, so obviously it's not going to be in there, so I just popped in and popped out. At this point I'm thinking that he probably hid them outside and is like trolling me, because so far nowhere to be found. But because I got the hottest signal from Jesse's room, I decided I'd double check Jesse's room. The signal gets really hot, but not really close enough for me to be like, oh, the AirPods are definitely here. Obviously, I stopped to look at Ollie because he's so stinking cute, and I'm gonna give him some pets, because when you see a dog like this, you always pet him. It's like a rule. You see a cute dog, you pet it. And this is where I found the AirPods, out of dumb luck, which is so embarrassing on the app's part. I'm using an app that's supposed to track my AirPods. I paid for this app, and it doesn't work. Like, I would have never found them if it weren't for the fact that I went to pet Ollie, which I think is pathetic. And this concludes the voiceover part of this video. I am sorry if you thought this was weird. Back to the live voice. Alright, so I managed to find the AirPods, and the app didn't help too much. It was mostly my boy Ollie. Right, who's a good boy, huh? Who's a good boy? Good job, buddy. Alright, so now I'm gonna go back down to my room where I'm gonna explain and run the last test, and I'll see you guys down there. As you guys can see, I'm back in my room where the third and final test will take place. Originally, I was gonna get my roommate to separate the two AirPods from the case and hide them all around the house, but after seeing how the last test went, I know that the app won't be able to track it. So instead, I'm gonna make the test a little bit easier, because we already know that the app is capable of tracking your AirPods. Not very well, but it can. Now I just want to see if it can track all three individual pieces, or if it just tracks the case or like one of the AirPods. Okay, so I placed one AirPod on the desk, one AirPod on the fireplace, and the AirPod case on my gerbil's cage. So now I'm gonna go to each item and see if the app can in fact track it. So if you go real close to the AirPod, you can tell that it can clearly track this AirPod. As we move away, it gets less hot. Okay, and now to the AirPod case. Ooh, it doesn't track the AirPod case. Okay. And it doesn't track this AirPod either. So it only tracks the left AirPod. That is not good. That's a fail, actually. So now I'm gonna look over the footage and compile the results, and I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so I've carefully reviewed the results of the tests, and I've come to the conclusion that no, this app is not worth buying. Now I'll admit, the first test did shock me when I saw that it connected to my AirPods almost right away and was able to locate them, but that was at close range. The second test was pretty pathetic, considering the fact that I couldn't really pinpoint the exact location of the AirPods. I just knew kind of where they were, and if it weren't for the fact that I went to pet Ollie, I probably wouldn't have even found them, to be honest. So I kind of consider that a failure. And the last test was a huge failure. It only tracks one AirPod. So if your case and AirPods ever get split up, you're not gonna find them. Now I mentioned before that the app that comes with your iPhone iPhone is useless, the Find My iPhone app. But ironically enough, the app that I just paid for is even more useless. At least on the Find My iPhone app, there's an option to sound the alarm, which kind of tells you where your AirPods are if they're near. But the app I just bought doesn't even have that. If you were to lose your AirPods in like a tiny crevice in your house, you might never find them even if you know they're there, which is pathetic. So I don't recommend buying this app. It's a waste of money. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video if you did. If you liked the video, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and comment down below what kind of experiments you want me to do next time. And until next time, ItzDuhMorgan out.
Grown folks in a portrait, looking perfect. I wait too young to feel this disappointed, and I'm roasted, burnt out, pretty but no sense I'm really worth it. I held me to some limits.